BC's favorite senior lifestyle magazine comes to life. Join us as Senior Living goes on location to bring you the inspiring, informative, and entertaining adventure-filled stories of seniors in your community. Senior Living on location, changing the definition of aging, celebrating seniors living life to its fullest. Join Senior Living on location as we delve into one multimedia artist's passion for the environment. You'll also want to sit back and enjoy the music and wit of performer Patti McGregor. But first, we meet a pair of married senior artists who've established new careers for themselves at 80. Mark Twain said it best, age is an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Meet Walter and Bertha Frankoski. The pair are well into their 80s and both have created new careers in their senior years. Walter and Bertha have been married for 60 years and have 8 children. Bertha, or Bert as she likes to be called, got into her career when she hit her 50s and discovered she not only likes to paint, but was actually good at it.
Well, it was sort of funny in a way because he used to come home from work. This is when he was still working, and he'd paint pretty well every evening and weekends, every chance he got. And one day I said to him, you know, I'm getting really tired of watching you just do nothing but paint. Well, the very next day he showed up after work and he had canvas for me, he had paints, he had brushes, he had everything I needed to start, and he said, paint. And I did. I didn't know I could, but I did.
And that's how Bertha's career was born. Bert's aptitude didn't stop with painting. She's also a heavy hitter on Facebook. She's quite proud of her computer skills, especially being able to pick them up later in life. She also uses her computer savvy to enlarge her pictures for her oil and acrylics work. This self-taught artist is influenced by nature and wildlife with a special interest in birds. Bert takes a very casual approach to painting. She'll just sit down and see what comes out. Most of the time, as she says, her pieces are just happy accidents. Now, her husband Walter is a different story. His artistic ability came at a very young age when he became interested in painting as a hobby. He dabbled in it throughout his life, but only made it a full-time career after his retirement. Walter has never had any formal training either. This self-taught artist paints in watercolor and sculpts stone, wood, and cement. His real passion, though, lies with stone.
Found out that I loved particularly stone. Stone being a lasting substance, and it's the most surprising of substances because when you take a piece of stone from a river or from a gravel pit, it's just a gray blob, heavy, and then when you start working it and cut open, it comes alive. The patterns are unbelievable. The colors are way out from what you originally started with. So it's a very inspiring media for me to work with.
Walter has mastered stone carving and specializes in granite, serpentine, and basalt sculptures. Walter's largest sculpture, called Fruit of the Earth, can be seen outside the Summerland, BC Municipal Hall.
99.9% of the stone that I have here come from some places in British Columbia. Some from the Okanagan, some from the Kootenay area, which I have a daughter living in. And most of the stone, though, comes from the Nanaimo Lakes Road and the old gravel pit that is a famous swimming hole by the Nanaimo River. And that's where I get most of my local stone from. This piece particularly comes from Cranbrook, and this is the way the stone would look when I first picked it up from the ground.
And this is what the stone looks like after his creative hands take over. Walter and Bertha have a large property bordering on one of their children's in the Nanaimo, BC area. The backyard of the property originally housed meters upon meters of blackberry bushes. Now it features stunning sculptures that capture the imagination.
I developed this within the last 5 years, actually, is the use of expanded metal, it's called, or it's used for stuccoing houses. And so the forms that you see are first created by a sheet of metal that then is literally sewn together with steel wire and then pulled and pushed, because it's called expanded metal, and that's exactly what it means, to create the shapes you see.
Walter has a more analytical approach when it comes to his art. As for what inspires him,
the inspiration comes from, I have no idea. It just comes. And when I had the concept of being able to look at this stump, which was at this point here, I envisioned something on it and wasn't sure what. But ballerina somehow just came into my head. So I utilized a family member, my granddaughter Tasha, which lives in Gabriel Island, and she posed for me for a number of photographs that then I used to create the statue from the various shapes. I took the traditional comedy and tragedy, which shows theater, which encompasses every story of life. And so therefore, anything that I do fits this theme.
and in this theme and inspiration, his family is a definite muse for him.
This is my son-in-law, Edward.
And Wally decided to put me on here, you see.
Stand up underneath.
So if you stand beside here, this way, you might see how close it is. I don't know. Everybody says it's close.
I think it's an image.
And you made it right to size. Like he took
It's life size.
my waist size and my belly size, but he was wrong there, I think.
Yeah, I didn't make it big enough.
And in case you're curious, the woman holding Edward's hand is Walter's daughter. Now, some of Walter's inspirations also come from his frustrations.
And this piece here was an inspiration because we had a little bit of a problem with young people playing in the back of our property here and not realizing that it's private property. So I thought it somehow to scare them off without having to come out and holler at them. So I came up with this Excalibur, actually, Merlin with the Excalibur, but he is from the front kind of spooky. So that if a child comes out here to play in the evening, he will see this kind of a figure looming over him and at him. And within the face portion, there's two spheres that are actually gold color, which are part of the solar lighting, which will come on at evening and will literally scare the heck out of any young kid that comes into the yard.
We thought it was the Grim Reaper, but in any case, it does do its job, and we can see this being a big seller. In fact, the couple sells their art online and via a few small locations in Nanaimo, including West Coast Floral Design. Now, Walter doesn't like to boast, but he's won a variety of juried art shows and People's Choice Awards with his detailed landscape paintings and his unique hand-carved custom frames. Yes, he does that as well. For this couple, staying active by pursuing an artistic endeavor is one that they have come to share later in their life and well into their retirement. Their passion for art and nature helps keep them active and engaged in living. While they do try to sell some of their work, they are artists because their passion drives them, not solely to make a living. For Walter, life is just too short to create all the masterpieces he has inside him.
Senior Living on Location is produced by Senior Living Media, celebrating seniors in our community.
There are many activities people pursue once they retire, but Ilsoo Kyung MacLaurin, a retired registered nurse, went one step further after she discovered she possessed a remarkable innate talent in painting, photography, and sculpting. She had a desire to further explore her talents by returning to school at age 65. She graduated from the University of British Columbia with a Bachelor of Studio Art.
After nursing, I decided painting locally, and then I took some courses. And then it's the instructor second day, and then it's the instructor asking me, I have been painting before. So I says, no, this is first time. I don't know how to hold a brush. And then it's the instructor told me, he says, don't lie to me. You painted before.
Ilsoo creates multimedia art, including painting, sculpture, printmaking, photography, digital imagery, performing art, and installation works, among other things. One of her projects was a floor-to-ceiling tree sculpture made of used books, which is now on display at the Simon Fraser University Library entrance.
The bottom one is a kindergarten, and then it's a junior, and then junior high, and then university upgoing.
Her inspiration was quite simple, actually.
It's the reason it's my English is second language, so I learning from kindergarten book, and then it's slowly going up to university.
She also features some interesting formats like her hair masterpiece, inspired by a co-artist.
One of the Chinese, the artist, and it's he actually is created with the hair, and it's he collecting long and short hair, and he braided, and then he glued. So that was the one is inspired. So that's why I decided to cut my hair, and then it's also my father's hair, and also Jack's hair, and then all put together. And then so this is Canada, and then this is Korea, and it's also Korea, and this is my name.
Which is written in Korean, by the way. Ilsoo was born in Korea. She spent a year as a prisoner at the age of 12 after she was separated from her family during the Korean War. Today, her passion for Korea extends deep. Ilsoo travels to her homeland to not only exhibit her art, but uses her talents to raise funds for charitable organizations, such as the North Korean Orphans Programs. Her multimedia formats are also impressive, again stirred by elements around her.
I was worried about this global warming, and then also it's environmental things. So I decided to take pictures, and then I walking around and then taking garbages, and then put together two images, one image. I made it, and then I showed to one of the professor, and who is photography, and he loved that.
Besides artistry, Ilsoo also volunteers for Malaspina Printmakers on Granville Island, works part-time at the Richmond Public Art Gallery, is a volunteer green coat greeter at the Vancouver International Airport, and teaches acrylic painting at the McKees Senior Center. Not knowing about her innate talent until she was 65, and passionately pursuing it, proves that it's never too late to try something new. Ilsoo Kyung MacLaurin is a brilliant example that one should never stop exploring new opportunities in life, especially life after 65.
Senior Living on Location is produced by Senior Living Media, celebrating seniors in our community.
Patti McGregor is a 70-year-old triple threat performing artist. She plays guitar, keyboards, and sings. We'll even add pickle-ball to her list of achievements. Well, kinda.
I'm definitely not the A team. I'm probably C team, but I love it. And the first time I played it, I fell in love with it. I laughed and I joked. I couldn't believe how you could miss that big ball with this paddle.
Pickle-ball was invented in 1965. Truth be known, it was stumbled upon when Joel Pritchard, who later went on to serve in Congress as Washington's lieutenant governor, was playing ball with his Cocker Spaniel, Pickles. Now, Pickles would chase after the errand balls and then hide in the bushes. Thus, Pickles Ball became shortened to pickle-ball. And since the mid-1970s, pickleball has grown and expanded from a family activity game to a paddle court sport with formalized rules.
But now, somehow, folks are finding that it's easier than tennis. And that's one of the reasons why they're switching. It's not as hard on their joints and everything else, and it's exploding.
The game also challenges the hand-eye coordination of players without requiring especially quick footwork. And because it's usually played as doubles, teamwork does come into play.
This is part of my regime for looking after my health, and I think of every senior, once you're past the age of 45, 50, if this isn't your most important job of looking after your health, I don't know what is. Usually 5 days a week I walk up here, which is 1.5 miles, and I have a nice cup of tea and walk home 1.5 miles, so that's my daily routine. I eat a lot of grains. I don't have bread or things like that. And I jog. I still jog around the track a couple of times a week. But I only do 1 mile. I'm a turtle jogger,
And at age 70, we can't argue she's a vivacious gal. Prior to retirement, managing the Tsawwassen Arts Center, Patti was involved in the arts. For more than 10 years, Patti was part of the Pearly Show Band and English Music Hall group. She's also toured with Linda Jones and Company, directed and produced musical productions, and has an extensive career in television producing and hosting more than 400 cable television shows. Today, Patti continues to perform. She's taken up stand-up comedy, injecting humor into her routines.
Now for your amusement, I would like to do a short little twisted fairy tale for you. Well, her Gary Mudfather found out everything and said, of course, you can go to that bouncy fall. And of course, you can have a dancy fress as long as you promise to be home by midnight. So, with one wave of his magic wand, she got her dancy fress. Yay!
Patti McGregor has been honored with a number of awards. For her Delta cable, Patti received the Above and Beyond Award in 2009. She also had a theater named after her by the Delta Arts Council. Patti also received the Governor General's Award for outstanding contributions to the community of Delta for her volunteer work.
Open fields and lots of spaces, long, cold winters too. To get where I'm at right now, first of all, I've been in music all my life. And I would say, but concentrated more on the last 20 years. And that is, now I'm more comfortable. I still get nervous, and my type of nerves are nausea. But this last year has been particularly fulfilling for me because of the accomplishments and the ease. And even though I was nauseated, I carried on. I did a one-woman show called My Scandalous Life, and it was the story of my life through theater pieces and musical, original music pieces. So I was just delighted that I could do that. And then I did an Alberta tour. I played 8 gigs in 9 days. To me, that was a huge accomplishment. I was my own agent. I did my own booking. I did my own posters. I sent out the invoices, and I was the accountant and everything. The CEO, I think it is called.
We did, however, find out one thing she wasn't good at.
And I did play the flute, but I promised a couple of people that I would never do that again because they cringed.
Staying active is Patti's key to staying young at heart, and it doesn't hurt when you totally enjoy what you do. As for what's next on her agenda, she's taking her one-woman show back to Alberta.
Senior Living on Location is produced by Senior Living Media, celebrating seniors in our community.
Do you have a great story idea about seniors living life to the fullest? Senior Living would love to hear from you. Your inspiring story idea could be featured in an upcoming episode on Senior Living on Location or in our monthly BC-wide Senior Living Lifestyle magazine. To send us your idea, visit our website at seniorlivingmag.com. and follow the links to our Contact Us page, or simply email us at production@seniorlivingmag.com.
I do eat a lot of kale. Kale grows, it's amazing, kale grows here every month of the year. I can go out in the garden because we all have a constant supply of kale. I just have a bag full of kale and I just munch on it while I'm preparing lunch or while I'm hiking.
I'll tell you something. I cooked for 40 years, right? And then we came out here and we sort of semi-retired, but he actually had to have a knee replacement. And in his recuperation, he learned how to cook. And I fell in love with him all over again. And it has been absolutely marvelous, just marvelous.
I saw the teacher throw on the wheel a cylinder, and it brought tears to my eyes.
So I retired in 1998. I had quite a little bit of time on my hands, so I got into building again, but a different sort.
The guys that built that boat were loggers.
Yeah, they don't see them kind of boats all fading away now. Yeah.
Harvey's the only logger that knows how to fit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the size of it.